I demand the right to speak my mind. The commies do it in Ottawa and in London, England, and in Washington, D.C., and so on. So why can't I? And you, hey, just saying. British Columbia, Canada, there's a Liberal Party there. They used to be in power. Now they're in opposition. And they're saying, hey, we want to change our name. So they kind of had a meeting to decide when the next meeting is. By that, I mean that they had a vote to see whether or not they wanted to pursue the process. 75% of the delegates said, yes, let's do that. So now, why didn't they just vote and say, we want to change the name and change the name? Instead, they voted to, meet again and discuss it again. The BC Liberals are not affiliated, so they say, with the Federal Liberal Party, and they describe themselves as Maiden BC Liberals. Not sure what that means. A Liberal's a Liberal, but they want to change the name because they feel that they haven't won the elections because of their name. I actually have news for them. They haven't won the elections because they're the same as the governing NDP. It's the same kind of deal. There's no difference, okay? Really, there isn't. You got to change your name. I don't know. That's kind of like a hooker saying, I'm now an escort. Guess what? You're still screwing people for money, and politicians still do the same. Just saying. Okay, I want to know why. Why do you have to give identification when you go and get a room at a hotel? Why? I've got to ask somebody. I have asked. I've got to ask some more people. To rent a campsite, to do anything. It's kind of like the Soviet Union, a travel pass, right? What does it matter who you are? They don't do anything with that information. They don't run you through a machine to see whether or not you're a murderer. They just have to see your photo ID or you can't have a room. Again, it makes no sense. I've said to people that run hotels, why? Because it's policy. I said, why? You have to verify my identity. Why? It doesn't matter. As soon as I show it to you, you don't deny me. As long as I have a credit card to go with it and you get paid, you're happy. Why do you have to know who I am? I'll write my name down, but why do you have to look at my passport? Tell me that. Do you know? Canada, the Conservative parties there are looking a little bit elite, right? $300 and some odd thousand, I think it was, to run for the leadership of the federal Conservative Party in Alberta now. I think it's $175,000. So many people that would be great leaders aren't going to step up. They're not going to spend the money. Many of them don't have the money. All these people, where are they getting the money? Most of them that run don't have it either. So they get it from a donor. What does a donor get in return? If they win, is the donor going to benefit? Hey, you betcha. Something's going to happen, and that's not nice. They shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. I think it's a dishonest system. And then they have to go out and sell memberships, right? It's like the Davy Crockett days of old. Come here and I'll give you a $2 piece, right? And that's what's happening. It's wrong. The Conservative Party federally in Canada now has hundreds of thousands of new members, many of whom wouldn't pass a test, whether, they couldn't check all the boxes about being conservative, but they joined up so they can vote for the person that they want. Jean Charest is, a point in that discussion, because he's kind of a liberal, and he's out selling memberships to people in Quebec the pitch is probably, I'm from Quebec, I used to be the Liberal Premier, vote for me. $10, you can become a member, and then you have a say in picking the Prime Minister of the country. It's not a fair system. Here's a story for you. It's a long story, but it'll end the day. All that stuff is depressing, so this will kind of lighten things up. It's about brilliance, okay? An old Doberman dog. He was out wandering around in the field and chasing rabbits, actually, and soon he discovered that he was lost, right? So he's wandering around and he noticed a lion coming at him. The lion, I'm sure that he was thinking, here's lunch now with the Doberman, and the Doberman said, oh no, what am I going to do? And he's kind of old and he can't move real fast. He saw some old bones laying on the ground, so he said, I got an idea. He settles down, starts to eat the bones, and puts his back to the lion. And just as the lion's about to leap, the old dog exclaims loudly, wow, that was one delicious lion. I wonder if there's any more lions around here. And hearing this, a young lion, he kind of held back, and he was scared to death, and he ran away. And he said, wow, good for me, because you know what? I'm terrified. And that was kind of neat. However, a squirrel was up in a tree, and he heard this and watched what was going on. And he thought, here's something that I can use in my favor. So he tracked down the lion, and he said, hey, you've been scammed, man. This is what happened. He spilled the beans, don't you know? So the lion, he's furious about this, and he said, hey, squirrel, hop on my back, and we're going to go and eat that dog. You watch, I'll do the eating. And the old Doberman, again, he's too old to move, and he sees the lion coming back with the squirrel on his back, and he figures it out right away. He knows what happened. What am I going to do now? I got troubles here. But instead of running, he knew he wouldn't get very far anyway. The old fella, he sits down with his back to attackers, pretending that he hasn't seen them yet, right? And when they get close enough to hear him, he says, where's that darn squirrel? I sent him off an hour ago to bring me another lion. That's kind of cute, right? Don't mess with old dogs or people, and brilliance only comes with age and experience. And that applies to people everywhere. Hey, see ya.